Hello, On the Rockers. Put the kids to bed. It's On the Rocks After Dark edition with adult industry award-winning professional podcaster and pop culture enthusiast Marc MacNamara is here with my guest co-host, the runaway stars of Tubi's House of Heat reality TV show, adult content creators and influencers, Sumner and Cody Blayne, and me. With no OnlyFans, just only cats. Matt, your sassy host with the sassy most. Raise a glass as the drinks begin. It's On the Rocks.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Buttons and bows and pantyhose, On the Rocks podcast, a place where we're too glam to give a damn. Send us your thoughts and prayers. Actually, keep your prayers. I've got the thoughts. Literally. My thoughts. That kind of thought. Not like, okay, never mind. On the Rocks, on the road. Yes, we finished our 10-city tour in 2 months for Out at the Fair, but we are coming to Palm Springs with our guest co-host today, actually, for Halloween Palm Springs, the Arenas Road Block Party with thousands of partygoers and headliner, Grammy Award-winning Motown legend Thelma Houston is performing. I will be your MC for the night, and Koaty and Sumner will be on our celebrity judge panel, giving some shade, I'm sure. Go to HalloweenPalmSprings.com for tickets and info. Make sure you get the VIP ticket because you get to hang out with us backstage with open bar, the celebrities, and the Go-Go Boys. Girl, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at On the Rocks on Air, and on Facebook, On the Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email. Book me for a pride, wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I'll show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. Also send us your comments, guest requests, and guest questions. And we got some hot questions for you tonight. The show's presented by Straw Hat Media. You can watch and or listen to our now over 383 episodes for free. You can watch us on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV on the Outlet.tv app, Facebook Watch, streaming with pride on SVTV, and on Channel 31 in Boston, of all places. Hello, Boston. We proudly tape at UBN Go Studios, your one place stop for podcasting. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Joining me as my guest co-host, returning to the show, Sumner and Cody are a fiery, engaged couple who have been together for 5 years. That's 1,000 years in lesbian years. They gained fame on OnlyFans during the pandemic, and embracing their love for partying and adventure, they aren't afraid to bear it all, both figuratively and literally. Despite their wild escapades, their bond remains strong, supporting each other through the highs and lows of their newfound success. And we saw it all. We saw the fights, we saw the love, we saw the sex on Tubi's hottest reality TV show, House of Heat, with all episodes now streaming for free. Wedding plans are on the horizon, as well as the debut coming soon of their new podcast, In Bed with Koaty and Sumner. There we go. So sexy.
There it is.
Please welcome the duo that does more than each other, Koaty and Sumner Blayne.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
That was an introduction.
I know. Damn.
Bam.
How did you get that all out?
Where are they?
Speed and vodka. Just the vodka. Just kidding, kids.
Yeah.
Speeds. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk about, just before we welcome the man of the hour, let's talk about, you get all this hype for House of Heat, and it filled the summer, and it was the hottest show that Tubi's ever had. You guys were the runaway stars, obviously. But share some of the reality of what happens after the reality show goes, and then it's like, okay, what's next? What's that reality like? What has life been like since the last episode aired?
I feel like we've really have been trying to make ourselves busy, with the podcast coming out, and we have some other things in the works, because I feel like there was a time after the show and after it aired, we were like, okay, what the hell now?
And
what
there's
are
no
we doing?
guidebook. Like,
No.
the network doesn't help anybody. Like, there's no guidebook what to do after your show airs.
Yeah.
I was talking to some friends who have done like musical theater when they have done a tour for a show or just come off a big gig that took a couple months, and there's that lull of after it's done, wait, what do I do now? What do I do with myself? And so, yeah, we just kind of had to snap into the next project, and some of that is the podcast. Some of that is we finally started looking at wedding venues, and we picked one out. We went to Temecula last weekend and looked at a few places. Was it last weekend or a couple weekends ago? But we found one that we really loved, so we picked a wedding venue finally. So we've been busy. Yeah.
That's exciting. And I hear the venue is amazing, and there's rooms for all these different things.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do. We did a vlog of the day, so we went to 5 locations total, and we vlogged the whole thing. I'm working on that actually, and I'll be putting that YouTube out on our YouTube channel this Saturday. Yeah.
Well, and your TikTok has really taken off as well because you're not just doing the sexy content, you're doing funny like lip syncs, you're doing funny couple things.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole different facet of your relationship that we get to see.
Honestly, the TikTok is what took off first and like kind of drew people to our OnlyFans back in 2020 when, you know, you could post your links and stuff on there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's more of our like Instagram reels. I think we've kind of switched to the TikToks more to the reels, even though like they kind of are the same and we do post them on both platforms. But we do see a lot more visibility in the reel section than the TikToks because they're not. TikTok's a little harsher maybe than Instagram, even though Instagram can be harsh too. But
Yeah.
we've found like a happy medium, I think, with the content because we haven't gotten any like serious, you know, things taken down yet. So
Yeah, and I also did want to throw in here, just because we're talking about the stuff on the show, something that people did see on the show is we got our penises molded, and I've had some questions of like, okay, what's the status of that? When is that coming out? Well, we did end up firing the company from the show and chose not to work with them, but we did find a new company. And
That's some drama.
firing's a harsh.
firing's a harsh word. We just decided, you know, to take a different direction.
Yeah.
I think we just had different ideas of what we wanted to do, but we found another company. We're going to be on their website. We're going to be in stores. I don't want to say the name yet until we.
You'll come back and
Yeah, we'll come back, but we're going out to meet with them on the 8th to sign the contract and get it all done. And there'll be a DP version of us coming out early next year.
We'll bring it with.
Yeah,
So I just love the idea of the company that you parted ways with amicably.
we did. We
It
did.
was an amicable split.
I'm imagining their factory full of your penises, and they're like, "What do we do now?"
No, it never got that far. No, that was the problem.
That was-
that was the problem. The
It's
pace.
The months later that I was like, okay, we came in there with this whole idea, and I think that they just thought, oh, they're just here for the show. This is just something they want to do for the show, and then that's it. And it was like, no. We want to move this forward. We definitely we have fans that want this product.
Yes, they
so we
do.
need to find a company that's, you know, wants to be in our timeline and isn't going to take 5 years to get it to market.
Yeah.
So
But they still have your mold somewhere in their office.
they do have the casting, but they
Yeah.
have not done anything with it. Yeah.
That you know of. There's some janitor in their office having a really good time after hours, I'm sure.
Maybe. Have fun. Have fun.
On that note, you can DP this couple soon, coming to Toys R Us. Let's bring on the man of the hour, Marc MacNamara. Born and raised in Anna Maria Island, Florida, by the way. We're going to talk about that small little island. He entered the gay adult world in 2008 after working in mainstream television and the movie industry. He's filmed all over the world. And when I say all over the world, any major city and smaller city that you can imagine on the globe, he has been there. And in 2013, he started his own production house, Nasty Boy Productions. He produces, he writes, he directs content for Falcon Naked Sword, we know we love. In 2021, he started the wildly pop culture and porn podcast, Discretion Advised. And clearly, discretion is advised. It is so fun. And it now has a spin-off second show called Uncut. And Diego Sands is part of it as well. And if he wasn't busy enough, he created and hosts a show on Fire Island, and he's done it for the last 10 years, called Fame Games, where he takes a Bravo housewife and pins them against a porn star in a series of ridiculous and sexy games. He's won Grabbies, Cybersocket Awards, Gaviend, XBiz, and Hustler Ball Awards. He is the man. Please welcome Marc MacNamara. MacNamara! How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling a little less accomplished because I myself do not have a DP. No one to DP mold my dick with.
As of now, is that your real bed behind you, by the way?
It is.
That's
It's
the bed
late
you sleep
here,
on every night.
Yeah, my dog's on it right now.
Oh, cute.
Hi.
It's late here. I normally sit in front of a window to do the podcast, but
Yeah.
past my bedtime, I had to get in my bedroom.
We are in your bedroom. That looks like a porn set, by the way. I do have to say, look how clean it is and streamlined.
To be fair, I just moved
Oh,
in
okay.
July, so I haven't lived here long enough to get it fucked up.
No, I love the wall and the plants right there. It looks so symmetrical.
We have a golden green.
Yeah, is the wall
at our house.
green?
Yeah.
Is that a dark green wall?
Yeah, it's
It's
green
almost
velvet.
Yeah, it's almost the same
Yeah,
color
we
as
have a
ours.
green wall that color with gold mirrors on it. Yeah, it's crazy how
Those are going to be
similar.
the colors of the season because of Wicked.
are.
We're going to see green and gold everywhere. But did you hear what he said? He said velvet walls.
Oh, well, he's
Oh.
fancy.
Well, here's a story about that, and
Yeah.
it's not that interesting. But I
Great way to
ordered
start the show.
I ordered a really expensive wallpaper because I was like, I really want green velvet. It finally got here, and it was a picture of green velvet on wallpaper.
Oh,
Like,
no.
bullshit.
Oh, my
So
God.
then I went to Amazon for like a third of the price and just got this.
But, you know, fluids don't get out of velvet very easily. I just, you know, I'm just letting you know.
That's why it's a little flavor saver.
Flavor saver
Oh my
for
God.
later.
That wall's going to be in the Smithsonian someday. Now, Mark, before we get hot and heavy, I want to find out a little bit about little Marky Poo as a boy. Anna Maria Island is only about 7 miles long. It has less than like 10,000 population. What was life growing up like there? What did it teach you about present day life?
Peaceful. It was nice. My dad's a fisherman, so I grew
Okay.
up on the water mostly, and it made me thirsty for like more and what the world is out there. That's why I live like in the heart of Manhattan now, because I didn't have much stimulation growing up other than animals and water. So
Yeah.
it was nice. I like it. It's lovely to go back to. I'm glad that that is my hometown that I get to go back to on holidays and stuff, because it's a beautiful beach. It's a beautiful place. But I couldn't fucking live there. What am I going to do? I'm going to need your fucking dildo. There's no one there.
But like, what
I
kind-
will definitely be sending you one.
Yes. Send him the DP one.
Send me the DP.
Yeah. But what kind of boy were you? Were you into theater? Were you a jock? Were you just giving handies on the beach? Like, what was happening?
Handies on the beach, fingerings on the beach, and I played. I was an island kid. I was in the water. I was surfing and snorkeling and scuba diving, and I played soccer. Basically, if it had an S in it, I was into it.
Yeah.
But then I moved away when I was 16. So the young years, like the fun shit, I just ran around and did, I don't know, island shit.
Like tomboy stuff.
I'm an island boy.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one came out as gay, but they did like a kiss together?
Yeah, the island boy. They did.
They Frenched each other.
Yeah, they did.
And then one came out.
Oh, really?
And then they lost
I
all
thought
their
they were both gay.
sponsorships.
I thought they were related.
I did
They're
too.
twins. They're twins.
Okay, so
Okay.
no, yeah.
Like,
So,
My Lord, girl.
What
so
is
it is.
happening?
So it is gross.
Yeah. Well, it depends, unless you're the Peters twins. Now, Mark, what was your exposure to anything sexually? Like, even as a boy, do you remember like images, or did you like come across? Did you find like your dad's Playboy? What was your first kind of exposure to this kind of world, or sensual feelings, even?
I've yet to have them.
Sensual feelings.
Sensual.
Sensual.
Sensuous.
Sensual. I grew up Catholic, so I grew up like when it was time to masturbate, like when you were old enough to do that, I would make myself think of women, because I was trying to change and like fit into this little small island where there were no other gay people, and we had to go to church every Sunday. And so my senior year of high school is when I first like discovered gay porn, really. And then my mom found it, and she's like, "Oh my God, what is this?" And I said, "Oh, it was my sister Lisa's, of course. She's into weird shit. It has to be hers." Like, but don't confront her about it, because you know I don't want her to feel bad. But yeah, Mom, you should talk to her.
Wow.
And then I moved to New York and started sucking dicks.
Everyone's gay there.
Yeah, exactly.
Boys and girls and girls.
Yeah. But that's funny, because I was raised very staunch Catholic, and we had no discussions of sex either way, right? And then my mom did find a bunch of stuff, and I did blame one of my friends that he'd left it there, and it created a whole kind of conversation. But it's terrible that we grew up with that kind of guilt and that kind of restriction, because then it was finally came time to enjoy it. We still had all this guilt on our shoulders, right?
I remember doing the same thing, trying to imagine women while I was masturbating.
And you were Mormon,
And I was
right?
Mormon, so I already wasn't supposed to even masturbate.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you showed them, didn't you?
I
You
did.
would do everything 10 times the opposite
I don't
way.
know. Boys always
Okay.
crept in.
Can I ask a question about Mormonism? I
Yeah.
had Monica Garcia on my show this week.
We love
Oh,
Monica!
remember when we met her when we were all in Vegas?
We were with you.
That's when I met you all. Yeah.
Yes,
I met
we-
Monica.
Because he shot me a couple times. That was
Yeah,
our
I
first time
know. I
working
know.
together. Yeah.
She's lovely. We've become friends now, and she's going to film something with me in October that
That's awesome.
we'll be talking about soon. But she told me something about like Mormons called docking.
Oh.
Do you know what Utah docking is?
Oh, is this where you like lay on top of each other, missionary, and like someone vibrates the bed, so then it's like you're not actually doing the motion yourself, so it's considered okay? Is that what that is? I never
What?
did it, but
Basically.
I heard about this from some friends who went on missions or something. I never did this, but I've heard about it. I think that's what it is, right?
The Latter-day Saints don't like when you fuck, so you just have to like put it in.
Yeah.
And then someone has to like move the
bed.
Who's that
And
someone?
So since you're not doing the motion, you're not committing a sin
Oh
or
my
something.
God! But whose job is it to rock the
I
bed?
don't know. I never did this, but I've had friends that talk about this. Old Mormon friends or whatever.
There's a video in this. We have to recreate this with like 3 like gay porn
You get
stars.
you get one of those massage chairs that are electric.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'd rock the bed for a friend.
Oh, I
Like,
would
a friend
too.
indeed is a friend indeed.
I'm a watcher. I would do it.
It's why Mormon girls have gay friends.
Oh my
Rock the
God.
bed.
They'll be
So
there.
hot.
That is definitely docking is definitely done by the gay friend that wants to watch the dick. Oh my God.
Now, Mark, there's a whole part of your life that we're missing, like the Jesus years. We know when Jesus was in the temple, and then all of a sudden he was in the desert and had all these 12 guy friends. We're missing a chunk of your life I haven't been able to find from interviews or anything, and that's you getting off the island, New York, establishing yourself. What happened during that chunk of time? What was the opportunity to get off the island, and was there culture shock involved?
That's none of your business.
I've been told that many times, trust.
I went to when I went to college, I went to Florida State University and the University of Hawaii, and every summer I would come to New York to intern, and I just knew I wanted to be in New York, but I didn't go to school there. So when I did graduate and I did go there, I started working for TV and film. I worked for VH1. I worked on a show called The Agency. I worked for a Nicolas Cage movie, Lord of War. And then one day I was also ghostwriting articles in Out and Genre.
Oh, wow.
And
God, I remember genre.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
I know. They paid well. But someone asked if I would write a porn script. And I was like, there's a script? You want me to write the oohs and the ahs? And they said, no, if you take the sex out, it would also stand alone as a movie. And so I said, sure. And then they said, would you direct it? And I said, no, I won't. I've never been on a porn set. I'll direct the story, but I'm not going to direct the sex. And for the first year of working with this studio, I only directed the story. And then eventually they were like, we really want you to do both. And that was that.
So that's an interesting transition. Now, getting really engrossed into the adult industry, what was it about the mainstream TV and film that just wasn't fulfilling you? That the adult industry was pay? Yeah, money.
Money. The money was a lot better. I wasn't like a TV exec. I was just a PA and then a producer on these shows. So that didn't pay as much as it did to direct a porn movie. And I felt like it was just, there was so much more freedom in the porn world. I could write and tell whatever story that I was interested in, whereas the mainstream world, you were just like rewritten and retold what to do. And I just found the freedom so much more exciting.
Did you also find it that you were able to just be yourself, like sexually and as a gay man? Did you have any pushback in the mainstream world being a gay man?
No, but when I did first start, I didn't even use my real first name is Mark. My last name is Manali, but I use MacNamara because back in the day I was told you had to have a porn name. So it began as Nate MacNamara, and I hated the name Nate. I also hate the name MacNamara, but I just couldn't like wrap my head around like who is Nate when people were to call my name. And so I also didn't want to be on camera at all. Like there were BTS pictures or videos that I would have them take me off of completely. I was very just wanting to be a private person. So I don't know if that's because it was just ingrained to me, like because of mainstream, like hide yourself. But it took a while for me to be comfortable and be able to show myself.
Well, also, during that kind of time, too, gay porn has become very mainstream, even in the last decade. As you very well know, you've meshed pop culture and porn very well together, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But that stigma is kind of gone. But, the days of porn, like if your family found out or if your friends found out, it was terrible. And so, of course, you wouldn't want to be a part of that. And now I think that culture has kind of changed.
Absolutely.
Did you tell your
Definitely
family
has.
and friends, like once you got into the industry, how did they react?
I didn't because it wasn't something that I thought they would understand at that point. Like you said, like things have changed, but now this is like, we're talking about 2008. That was a different world then. And thank God we've evolved, but it wasn't the time and place to like worry someone on this little island that hey, your boy's in New York filming dicks. Like, I didn't want like to worry anybody.
I know some the people at men.com that have been doing it for like 13 plus years. Two of them are lesbians. I love them, but she's like, I haven't told my family. Yeah. And she's like, I've been doing this for 13 years. She's like, they know I'm making money and they don't ask other than that. So
I literally didn't tell my family and just said, hey, I'm on this reality show. And that's kind of how they
found out through House of Heat.
I mean,
I think they had an idea, but there was no hiding. I mean, they definitely didn't know that I was doing studio porn. There was no way for them to know that.
Yes. There's a lot of new stuff that they saw from that show. And my mom still, when she finished it, texted us both, loved it. Like, my mom is like, ride or die.
Yeah. My family did already. I had it told them that I was doing studio on top of the OnlyFans, so they did know. But
wow,
yeah,
wow, that's a way to find out.
Yeah.
But for his mom, she didn't even blink an eye. She just was like, this show's wild.
I think my mother knows who I am and just trusts the decisions I make and just knows that I'm gonna be good. And I think that's like something she lives by, and it really shone through with this.
And that you have a healthy relationship. You're getting married. You're paying your bills. I mean, isn't that what a parent wants? Is for you to be happy and be able to.
Yeah, I think
yourself?
I haven't asked my parents for money since I turned 18. So what do they care? They're like, you're in a happy relationship. You pay your bills. You're living your life. Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Mark, can you tell us about your first day on a gay porn set? I remember my first day as an observer. I was so nervous because of this ingrained Catholic guilt. And then I was embarrassed. Like, do you look at the actors while they're walking around naked? Do you not? Like, I was such a basket case. They were like, are you all right? Because I wanted to be polite, but I still wanted to see. What was your first day like? Because as a newbie to the industry.
It was a water sports scene.
Oh, my
I
God.
Walked into, and I quickly walked out of it.
Was this for Falcon?
Anybody's yum. I'm not even gonna say it. It was with a kill shelter. I'm not gonna say their name. But it was just really gross. And for me, like having never seen that, like I didn't know that guys were into pissing on each other. I mean, little do I know now. But it was shocking. So I left very soon after, and then I came on like a more traditional scene and saw it happen. And I would never go on someone else's set or be on someone else's set if I didn't have the camera in front of me separating the action from what's happening. Like, I don't feel like I'm in the room when I'm watching it. Like, I feel like I'm watching it through the lens. Well, I am watching it through the lens, and I'm making art of it. So it doesn't feel like I'm just watching these two people have sex. I'm capturing and directing. So just being in the room and seeing porn and then directing porn, like, and no offense to the people in the industry. Actually, yeah, offense to the people in the industry who call themselves directors but don't know how to use a camera. Yeah. But like, I feel it's just a totally different experience.
Well, and because you've had a hand in creating this project too. Like you are a professional, and I think that's why you have won all these awards, because you treat it as a professional industry. And we know from an actor's point of view, and Sumner, you could talk about studio work, when it's treated like a professional environment, that's where you feel the most respected, and that's where you get the best content.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've worked together. I've worked with Falcon and Naked Sword quite a few times, and they've always been amazing to work with. So we come in, we get the last scene that we did. Like, I remember I got there at 11. We were done by 1.
That's unheard of.
Like we were in and out. We did all the positions, got all the B-roll. Like we came in, we handled it, and it was also in LA in the Valley. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was like, this is great.
You're like a happy hour at 4.
Yeah, and Naked Sword just launched that scene like last Friday or something. The one with Seth. It was great.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
Yeah. That was our last time shooting together. Well. It was. I love a scene like that. 2 hours.
Yeah. Seth Peterson is so hot.
He is so cute.
Is that the brother one?
Like, you go in there like mapping it out. Like it's quick and easy.
Yeah.
That was the brother one we were telling you about with Brogan.
Oh
yeah, where I was Brogan's brother.
Oh yeah.
We were laughing about that because I knew Brogan a long time ago, and when I first met Sumner, I was like, oh wow, you actually look like this guy, because he was a little more clean shaven like Sumner years and years ago. So when the fact that you made them brothers in the actual move in this scene was
this little movie,
made me laugh.
Yeah.
Circle of life.
Right.
They weren't brothers until I saw the cast. Like once I saw, we have Seth in 2 scenes, and one of them's with Brogan, and one of them is with Sumner. I was like, oh, they look like brothers. Let's make this brother fucker.
Yeah, it definitely
100%.
worked. Definitely worked. Yeah.
Imagine that Thanksgiving. That's a Thanksgiving I want to go to. Like, who gets stuffed first?
Seth.
And
Then Mark.
Yeah. And Mark, so on this note, a question I got emailed in many different ways was, ask him why he's not in front of the camera. People want to know why you're not.
I don't have the confidence or the ability to be vulnerable enough.
Oh.
I feel like to be a porn actor and a porn star, you have to have the ability to be super vulnerable, because what you're doing is really just putting it all out there. And I am too much of a control freak, and I am too protective to be that vulnerable. And if that makes sense. And who the fuck wants to see it?
I also understand what you're saying, is I only do, the OnlyFans side of things, and every time I go to socials, the men.com party with him, they're all like, oh, when are you doing it? When are we getting you for a scene? And, part of it is like, that's his thing, and I am an engineer, so that's my thing. It's nice to have separate things when our life's so intertwined. But also, I feel like a lot of it is kind of what you said too, is I don't know how much I would thrive in an environment that is so controlled, and I do have less freedom of what kind of is being shot of me. So I definitely feel that.
But it's interesting because, Mark, we see your thirst traps on social media, and we see all the comments you get. And like I said, when I got emails for this episode, that was one of the first concerns. And Cody, we've seen you in all different kinds of undress, and so it's funny. It's like at studio where it is filmed in a beautiful way. That's where you draw the line.
I think it takes a specific type of confidence in a person to post thirst traps, which we love to do, and then there's
your career.
there takes a specific kind of person to do studio porn, and then I also think it takes a specific kind of person, if you've seen it, to do VR studio porn, because that's just a whole nother thing. So like
you've done that too,
and I've done that too, but like you are it is vulnerable,
when I talked to him and he's like at a shoot for 8 hours, I was like, oh, I could not be doing that.
Yeah.
But Mark, there's never been a time where an actor like canceled out and you're like, well, I got to take one for the team. You're just like, no.
No, because that's another thing. Everybody expects me to be a bottom, but I do not like doing that. So that's a surprise to many, and I think would turn like that's not what they want to see.
Oh, I would never make that assumption.
I wouldn't have made that assumption either. I wouldn't have made that
never.
assumption either.
I mean, you do have a booty.
Bottom energy. I like bottom energy.
Oh, all right.
I definitely, I mean, I don't know. I'm working together and hang out with you. I never was like bottom energy.
No, even watching the
I thought
podcast,
maybe verse. I don't know.
I just assume everyone's verse now.
I do just assume it's 2024. Everyone's verse.
In
I
fact,
would like to be, but no.
Well, I'll send you the DP dildo when it comes out.
we do have a YouTube like tips and tricks if it's your first time, so we can send that your way.
And it'll be soon to be on our podcast.
In Bed with Cody and Sumner.
In Bed with Cody and Sumner.
All right, it's time for our first hot topic. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Chaperone.
My new fave.
Well, okay, let's talk about this. She has come out. We know Taylor Swift came out in support of Kamala. We know other artists have come out in the last 2 weeks because times are getting a little tight. Polls are getting a little tight. Chaperone says she's not taking sides, and she doesn't have to, is what she says, and that you can't make her, and she shouldn't have to be put on blast like that. So it's become a very hot topic because we know the gays love her. We know the queer community in general. I'm saying a lot of her popularity is due to the gay community. Let me put it that way. She's obviously, her career has skyrocketed. And we look at who's filling the seats, who's streaming her songs, who's liking her social media posts. And then she says it's not her duty to have to take sides. So here's the hot topic. Should a celebrity be expected to take sides? Does she have an obligation to the queer community? Do we even care?
I think I actually read about this today where people, she made that statement. She's not like endorsing anybody, but she does have a long history of, doing stuff for the LGBTQ community. She does, there is proof of her supporting that community. So I don't think it's necessarily right to, say she's not supporting her community in that way, because politics does have a lot more, like there's a lot more involved than just that. So I feel like she's doing a lot for the community. Do I think it's ridiculous not to pick a side as a queer person? Yes. But I feel like there is substantial evidence of which side she's likely to take, even if she's not kind of saying who it is.
Sumner.
Which is what? Because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes I'd be like, well, not taking a side maybe means that you're picking the side that's opposite of what your fan base wants you to. So if that's what that means, I mean, that's disheartening. But I would say that technically I don't think she has a responsibility. I think she's here to make music that we all love. I don't think that it necessarily needs to be her responsibility to get involved in politics right now.
I mean, Taylor had to get to the point where she was literally being called out left and right.
Yeah.
And then she finally made her thing, and she did it the night of the debate.
Yeah.
Because we saw how the debate wasn't.
But Taylor also didn't get involved in politics until like 2016. I feel like that was the first time she even like voiced that she had any sort of political opinions.
But also Taylor's career is not on the rise. She's I mean, she could stop tomorrow and be the wealthiest until the day she dies.
Yeah.
Chappell's, her career is still on the rise. Like, even though she's skyrocketed, she's still, she's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So she might have more to lose, or her management team might say, hey, you have more to lose if you take a stand.
Yeah.
Mark.
I'm going to get hated for this.
No,
and
you
that's
bring
gonna
it,
be
girl.
Okay.
Bring it.
I think it is pretty gross of her. I think she's pretty gross in general. I don't like her. She's just such a tryhard, and she wanted to be famous for so long, and now she's famous, and she didn't expect it coming. Like, give me a fucking break. Yeah. And you're going to like accept the pink dollar. You want us to go to your pink pony club, but the second you have a chance to have our backs, you don't want to get involved. Well, I don't want to get involved with you. Fuck off.
And if a certain presidential elect gets into office, he'll be closing those pink pony clubs.
Exactly. Like, read Project 2025, you dumb bitch.
well, that's the point too. Is like, if she doesn't know enough to make a decision, I don't want her saying anything anyway. I would rather.
But in other elections, I would say we haven't had such a heated election until this election. I mean, I would say the last, and maybe I'm speaking out of term, I would say the last heated election like this, and not on the same level, but was like during like the Civil War times. Both parties have had respect with debates, even though we didn't agree. It wasn't when it came down to our basic human rights.
Yeah.
And so I think, to your point, when you say, she not taking a side is taking a side, because you're not taking our side.
Yeah. So that's what that would say to me, because if most of your fan base is in the queer community and you're saying, oh, I don't want to take a side, then you've kind of taken a side.
Yeah.
So.
Chappell, get your shit together. Okay, that's our opinion.
Together, girl.
Anyway, Mark, you talk about sex in your professional life, in your creative life, on your set life, on your podcasts, Uncut and Discretion Advised, and at your live show. Do you ever get tired about talking about sex? Do you get desensitized to it?
No, like a dentist at the end of the day is still going to go home and brush their teeth. Like, it's still something that is a necessity. It's still something that you go. And I've always loved to talk about sex. Even when I was younger, like, I want to talk about sex with everyone, so I get paid to do it now. Thank you.
And then being around all these hot men, people assume, you're sleeping around left and right. You get this opportunity, this orgies every night in your green velvet walled gold bedroom. What is the reality of that?
It's not that. No, I think to stay in this industry for as long as I have, you have to, just ethically, you should treat models with the utmost respect. Don't cross the line ever, whether you think they're good looking or not good looking. Like, this is a job. You wouldn't go to an office and like start finger blasting someone by the coffee machine.
Well,
like, you have to show respect in this industry as well.
Yes. But has this affected your love and dating life?
Ooh, oh my God, you want me to cry? I maybe because I am not someone who wants to be with the partner. That's not something that I'm open to dating. So maybe subconsciously it's because of my work. I've never really even like thought of that. I'm just not someone who wants to. I'm not open to like dating, and at this point in my life.
Do you ever feel like desensitized from like, you know, if you see porn on Twitter now, since you're just like, you know, when you're seeing it in front of the camera? Because I know for me as a model, I just, even when I'm scrolling through Twitter, some of it starts to feel like work because I'm looking for like the next person to collab with, or like, ooh, that they're fucking in a hot position, but not because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna jack off to this. It's like, we should try that next time.
But we're in a, like, he's doing it. We're like an Uber, and then it's like, like in the back. I'm like, I have a good rating on Uber. Can you please stop that?
What I've never had, like with you and every other person behind the camera that I've worked with, no one ever has, you know, like like been weird or tried to touch a model or anything like that. So I'm just wondering if you're just like desensitized to it since you just see it right there in person when you're directing, you know?
It's weird. I don't watch porn and I don't masturbate, which
Okay.
is like two things that people
Ever?
find really
I've heard that
surprising.
from some other models though too.
I've
They're
heard
like,
that too.
I just don't watch porn anymore. I don't jack off because they're just kind of a little more desensitized to that because of what we do.
So then, Mark, would you say like being part of the industry has taken the fun out of sex then?
No, sex is very fun.
And I wouldn't
So
say
is
that either. I wouldn't say
Masturbating
that
is
either.
fun.
Yeah, I just would prefer if someone else did it for me.
Oh, okay.
I know some models that they're just like, I want to save that for the next scene I do or the next hookup I do. They're like, I don't want to waste an
load.
orgasm, a load
so rigid.
on just jacking off.
And like, where's the fun and spontaneity in
I
that?
guess, but you know, but we're in an industry where we're maybe doing it more than other people are.
Okay, all right. So, Mark, you still have like date nights. You just don't want to be in like a relationship.
I don't have date nights.
Well, no, like date nights. I'm being like, you still hook up, like. Otherwise,
I have anal, yeah.
yes. I was trying to be polite and a gentleman.
He
Okay.
uses his grinder.
Yeah. Okay. Are you on the apps?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not right now.
Yeah. Well, it's like bloop. Mark, why is it so important that we as gay men talk so openly about our sexuality?
I think just sex in general, we need to talk about more. I think that will lead to better sex, which will lead to better mental states, which will lead to a better economy, which will lead to a better world. I think that we don't talk enough about like with a partner about what type of sex we like. Like, I would like when you touch my nipples, or I like when you do this, or I want to be fucked like that. You normally just meet someone and you just go for it. But if you had a manual on how to drive that car, that driving experience would be so much more. It could do shit, warm up your seats and shit that you didn't know that you could do. So I think it's super important that we talk about sex. That's going to lead to a better sex and thus a better world.
Well, and I think healthier sex too. My first anal experience was a nightmare because I didn't know anything about anything. I hadn't seen gay porn to that extent. And I didn't know about certain protections that you should be at that time of my life. And so I wasn't protecting myself because I just didn't know enough, and it was like, Lord. Now, you have seen the adult industry go through COVID, the age of PrEP now and, condomless sex. How has the industry for you changed the most since your time in the biz?
I think the access to it and there used to be a much smaller group of guys who did porn, and you would end up casting the same guys, the same 20 guys that were doing porn in like every production. Now, because of COVID and because of OnlyFans, the stigma is lifted at an accelerated rate where there are more people who want that real estate at a studio to push their fan sites or whatever they have. So I think the quality has risen because there are just so many more guys who are open to doing it.
Yeah, I think we've all had to step up our game. I mean, I know when I've gone to like these socials and like the AVNs, the longevity of the people doing it and the people I see, they take it much more seriously, and they look at it as a business rather than just like, oh, I'm 21 years old, let me come do a couple scenes and make a quick buck. You have models that are in their late 20s, and like us, we're in our mid 30s, like, and like we're
early.
They're just whatever. They're just, it's not like, I feel like when I used to think of Sean Cody, you think of like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and now that the models that I work with are a little bit old. I don't want to say older, but they're just, they're not.
They're diverse. There's body hair now on Sean Cody. There's gray hair now on Sean Cody.
Yeah, things are much more diverse.
But I'll tell you, we were at Gay Brunch a couple of weekends ago, and we had this discussion at the table because one person said Sean Cody was their first membership that they ever paid for. And it was because it was such a certain type. You knew you were going to get your college boys, and it was hot because it was just that. And now the brand has diluted itself. He said he hasn't had his membership for Sean Cody in years. Number one, free porn is everywhere. But also, that brand isn't what he likes anymore because it has become so diverse. So they kind of diluted their own brand in the sake of being diverse. So I guess this is another hot topic. Do the studios have an obligation to be diverse and to represent certain types, not feed into certain types as well? Or is it okay for a studio to be like, this is our brand, this is what we stick by?
I've heard what you're saying about Sean Cody. I have too. I've seen comments that are, they love the diversity, and I've seen other comments where they're like, take me back to old Sean Cody. This is why I subscribed. I subscribed because it was your Caucasian white jocks.
Hairless.
Hairless,
muscle.
And that's why they subscribe. They're like, if I wanted to see the other, I would go to the other site that has that. So I've seen both discussions happening.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Mark, producing for a studio, have you felt that kind of pressure to kind of modify things to be, in the sake of another word, more woke?
I have not felt the pressure to do so, but I naturally have always wanted to be as diverse as possible. I even did a movie a few years back called Everybody, where it just was every single body type, we had a trans woman in there, we had big guys, small guys, like it was just every single body type I think should be represented. And like saying that Sean Cody is diluted now and it used to be just this way, well, the world has grown up. We don't have separate water fountains anymore either. Like we have, we have learned and done better.
But Mark, you can't tell your body what to respond to. Like, I don't like onions on my burger. I'm never going to like onions on my hamburger. Even if you put onions on a fancy plate, I'm not going to like onions. You can't tell your body what you're attracted to, yes or no?
You don't have to eat it. You don't have to eat it at my restaurant.
Okay, fair enough.
Or you order an item that doesn't have onions on it, because they
But you're putting onions on my burger if you're putting it in my porn. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I'm not into chubby, hairy guys, and then they're, and Sean Cody, there's an onion in my burger.
But I feel like there's so many videos on there that you just don't watch that one. You go to the next one.
Yeah, because I know like Sean Cody, Menacom, Falcon, they have thousands of videos. So I as a model, I don't care. I love that it's diverse. Like I love that I get to shoot with different types of guys. So that makes no difference to me whether someone that's subscribing needs to only have one type. But I don't know.
Okay, all right. Mark, I got this email for you, again, in a few different ways. And I think this is probably from writers in the business or wanting to get in the business. What is your creative process when you put a scene together, when you put a film together? I know that you probably kind of, because you're from the professional world, you kind of storyboard it, but where does your inspiration come? What is your actual sit down and write process?
When it comes to porn, like I consider myself a writer before anything else. So that's what I feel like my biggest strength is writing. So when it comes to porn, I just think, like I said earlier, there's so many opportunities, and there's not as much like red tape as there is in the mainstream. You can write whatever you find interesting. I always think it's important for, especially gay porn, to have a little bit of like camp and humor in the sexuality of it, because I mean, gay sex is like the campiest thing you can do. So I think it's important to like acknowledge who we are as a culture and have fun with it. The most important thing is to have fun. So then I go and I sit down and write a story, and I think I'm an outdoors, I'm an activity type of person. So filming outdoors and filming in places that other people won't do, like we filmed with sharks. I'm the only person who ever filmed in the Everglades. Like, I like to do what other people haven't or can't. So I also will then think in the story, okay, what can I do that someone else can't? And so then find a location, I'll find the cast, and then that's that.
Now, where do you draw your inspiration? Is it from films you see? Is it your own private fantasies that you're putting to paper? Where are these ideas coming from? Because there's a lot of ideas from you over the years.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question that I don't know the answers to. Like, I have a folder on my phone that just like, if I scroll forever, whenever an idea comes to me, I write it down. Whether it's a line or whether it's a scenario or whether it's a whole movie, whatever I'll be doing throughout the day, I'll write it down. And I tend to write a lot more after I smoked a joint. So like then ideas really blow up and get wild.
And I guess that kind of leads into the next question is what's, with all of your awards that you've received over the years, what sets your work apart? And I think that that's what you've answered, adding a little humor, adding a little outside of the box. Is there anything else that's particularly your signature style that you think you add to everything that you produce, write, direct?
I know. I mean, I think that's the nail on the head. I think that it's that little wink to the audience that lets them know, like, I like this too. Like, I'm in on this too. Like when gay sex first became a thing, and we were talking about earlier, like evolving and like finding out that that's what you're into. It's nice to have that community and be like, okay, you like anal too? Great. Like let's have fun with this. Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, I think that that's the biggest thing. It's like, let's just have fun. Like, porn is fun. Having sex is fun. Being gay is fun.
Studio porn is so camp.
It's so camp.
it's so camp. I love it.
Now, this next question is all cultural, has nothing to do with porn, but you literally have traveled everywhere. And when I see your list of everywhere you've traveled, it's like, Jesus, small locations, big locations, famous cities, vacation destinations. When traveling around the globe, what do you wish U.S. culture understood most about other cultures? Because we know a lot of people in the U.S. kind of can be in a bubble and don't have the opportunity to travel as much as you have.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the series that I've done called Global Entry was born. I was in South Africa on my 40th birthday trip with my friend Bianca Del Rio, who's a drag queen, and she was performing at these theaters that were sold out in Cape Town and Johannesburg of like, it was just gays like packing this place. And I realized there's so many gay guys across the world. Let's go and let's meet them. Let's talk to them. Let's cast them. What is, we all have this one thing in common. We all love dicks and ass. And so let's explore the cultures of all these different places. So I think for what's important for Americans to know outside is that we all like the same thing.
And it's what unites us.
Dick and ass. Dick and ass.
Maybe that should be Kamala's thing. Like, let's become a united nation, dicks and ass.
Dicks and ass.
Right.
And some tits every now and then. All right, Mark, let's talk podcasting. You already have the adult world in domination. Like, you run the empire. Why get into podcasting? We know how much work it is. How did Discretion Advised come about?
So they asked me to do Discretion Advised. It was originally me and Sister Roma, and we filmed 3 or 4 episodes, and Roma just wasn't. She didn't. I don't think it was up her alley. She didn't love it, and so then they said, "Well, who else would you want to do it with?" And I said, "Well, I'm really good friends with John Hill. We have a great chemistry. Let's try it with him." But I think it all evolved from doing my Fire Island show for so many years and being on stage and hosting these shows and these games where we brought in mainstream and pop culture and we put them together. Mainstream, pop culture, and porn, and we put them together. And so it was just an easy fit to do the podcast.
Now, it's one thing to be on stage, and we know you've done the show for about 10 years now, but being front and center in front of the podcast, the camera is on you. Like we said, it's a difference for you. Was there kind of a transition? Did you have a little nerves going into it? Be like, well, I guess I'm the face of this now, and now you're going to hear my intimate points of life.
No, it doesn't. Like right now, how we're talking right now, there might be someone watching us right now, but I don't think of that. I think that we're just talking to each other. I don't think about, whoever might be watching this. So it just makes it so much easier not to do what you're doing genuinely. Don't go and like think, like, you guys have been on a reality show, you know this, like when the cameras are up and in your face, people are gonna be drawn to you if you are just your authentic self, good or bad. Like, people probably fucking hate that I said I don't like Chappell Roan and I disagree with that, but you can't be afraid of sharing your opinion, because that's what you're here to do. So you have to also have thick skin, because people are going to come for you. They're going to call you ugly. They're going to call you fat. They're going to call you boring. They're going to call you old. They're going to make fun of your gray hair. They're going to do all these things, but that's okay. Because just like I have my opinion about Chappell, someone is allowed to have their opinion about me. We put ourselves out here in order to entertain, and that's going to come with judgment, and that's just part of the gig.
And I think our community, the queer community, has grown for not just being yes people. If we all thought a lot, we wouldn't challenge each other to be better activists. We wouldn't challenge each other on using correct pronouns. We wouldn't have this, but it's like, this is why differences. And I think this is why your podcast is so popular, because you are sincere. And, we know there's a lot of other sex podcasts out there. They're not as popular as yours, of course, but they're asking the same kind of stupid questions, and they're playing towards the camera. They're like, do you like dick? Like, how big's your dick? And like, that's the only thing that they ask. Yours is so well-rounded. It's like, yeah, we get a spice of that. We get that fun, but you also talk about real stuff too. And I think your sincere approach to it really shapes it out very well. So compliments to you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I've been on the podcast. I got to be
Yeah.
on with
You
the
were-
Countess.
Countess de la Sap? Are you kidding me?
That was the Fame Games, right? That was I got to guess if she's ever been in bed with a woman. She got to guess if I was circumcised or not.
Well, he never watched New York, so he's like, wait, who's the Countess?
You've
And
never
I-
watched New York?
No, I did know who she was. When
Get
you asked,
out!
I knew who she was. I just have not watched that franchise.
Money
no.
can't buy you class.
Watch the first 3 seasons.
Yeah.
We're going through
100%.
each franchise and watching it from the beginning. Like, we're doing Jersey right
Right now.
now, and then like I think we're gonna do Potomac or Atlanta next, and then New York. I don't
Atlanta,
know.
the first 3 seasons, just like New York. First 3 seasons.
Get
spread
mixed
by
reviews
the-
on who says to start.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
one,
yeah.
but
And
yeah.
along the podcast talk, like, you guys are launching your podcast. I think it's going to hit next week.
Yeah.
What's the inspiration for that? Like, you have your audience. Why a podcast?
I think most of it came by when we started sharing so much of our lives and how normal we thought our lives were. We realized how normal they aren't, and how shocking, and how many questions people just had about just the random things we talked about. And we were like, well, let's talk about it. And I think that's kind of where it came from. And, it's fun to do it with your partner, especially the one person who knows you so intimately. So, they can also call bullshit if you're lying. So it's kind of,
Well, I think it's important for gay men to also see that you guys are like the glamour queens, that you worry about going to the gym, you worry about gaining weight, you worry about aging, you worry about brushing your teeth. You have these normal things about life. You have to do laundry. Like, it's refreshing to know that guys that we think, oh my God, they have the perfect life because they have the quote unquote perfect bodies. No, it's work, and they have insecurities just like some of us curvy girls do.
And I don't have to do the laundry. He does it.
I like doing the
I'm
laundry.
just kidding. No, I do know how to do the laundry. I do do
Nobody
the laundry.
likes doing laundry.
I do. It's fun. It's a stress
I
relief.
will say though,
Cleaning.
just to speak to people having opinions, but sometimes there are people they don't like when we say we have insecurities, like they act like we're not allowed to, and that's
It's
why.
like insulting to them that
But
Yeah.
it's refreshing.
yeah.
yeah.
It so is. Okay, Mark, mixing in figureheads from pop culture and reality TV, you've had the most famous housewives. We're all gagging and we're all jealous. We know that even today, there still is a stigma where porn exists. How did you get to bridge that gap? How did you get these women not to just join the conversation, but they're joining the party behind the conversation as well? Like, they're dancing with you, they're talking sex, they're playing sex games. How in the world did that start? How were you able to build that bridge?
I mean, they love it. These women love it. They are looking for this opportunity to get down and dirty, and I think that's where I haven't talked about it yet, but I feel like I can talk about it here. We are filming the Fire Island show. Is now becoming a show that we're filming.
Shut up. That's
yes.
amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. And we start filming that next month, and Monica from Salt Lake City is going to be on it. And these women are just looking for an opportunity to let loose and have fun. So all you have to do is ask, and they've all said yes. Not everybody said yes. Vicky Gumbels had said no.
Well, she's also
She said,
changed.
No, thank you.
For now.
Yeah, but she's changed over the years. And to your point, who just said for now?
I said for now.
Because we know she's attention whore, right? She's like, I'm done with OC. Now she's like, can I be woohoo?
I actually have no idea who she is.
No, I know very well who she is and how she acts.
I haven't watched the Orange County franchise yet.
But she's changed. Like, part of her party girl sensibility has left. But you are very right. She loves attention. Now she sees all these other housewives. She's going to be calling you like, can we whoop it up? Yeah.
They do get jealous of each other.
Of course
and
they
like
do.
even like Melissa Gorga has admitted this to me. Like the girls get jealous of each other. If one of them gets an opportunity to do some gay shit,
Yes.
and the other one wants the opportunity. They love their gay.
So all you have to get is one of them on there for the
Yes,
franchise, and then they
seriously.
all come piling in.
Absolutely.
We had Danielle Cabral fly from Jersey to here to LA. She had a couple of other interviews, but she came in studio and we had like the best talk. You can imagine my inbox after that was like all of like the sub housewives. I'm like, girl, you can't bring it like Danielle did. Sorry. Okay, off the
Glass
record.
at you?
What?
Did she throw glass at you?
No. We had such a great time, girl. Now, you don't have to mention a name, but mention a franchise, because I don't want you to burn any bridges. What has been a housewife nightmare meeting or episode, or it just did not go well? Just name the franchise that they're from.
New York.
I'm going to go look every single person from New York that you have on there.
Like the
New
list
York
is
is a
extensive.
tough city. I mean, that's why I love New York and that's why I live here. But these bitches are brutal in New York, and so sometimes they're very, very difficult to deal with. You have to do a ton of babysitting and a ton of demands, and you just have to be on their beck and call because they will need you every 5 seconds.
100%. And I found that the New York housewife cast, the older cast, the legacy cast, if you will, they're also the most politically incorrect. They don't know the right words to use for our community. They're also the most uneducated when it comes to our community. I mean, Ramona Singer doesn't even know what LGBTQ. I mean, she was saying like every other letter, and she's like, I'm very in with my ZWQs. Like, get up. And then,
Countess Luann called her out on the Fire Island show. She's like, I love Ramona, but that bitch is a Republican.
no, and so here's the reality, too. A lot of them are Republicans, and we're talking about choosing sides. Who are their fans? Are the gays? Who's at BravoCon? Are the gays?
Is that a tough conversation to have with them when you know they're Republican like that? Do you call them out?
I haven't had any.
Oh, okay.
I don't invite. We get to choose who we invite.
That's
on,
what I
but
mean.
no,
Do you? Yeah.
haven't
Do you
asked
stay away from
Ramona.
those? Okay.
I haven't asked the Ramonas, the Lisa Barlows,
Yeah.
the Vicky. Like I haven't asked the Republican crowd.
Oh, the
to be on the show.
delusion.
But, and Ramona's dangerous because she's just not a Republican. She's an uneducated Republican. She doesn't know why she's Republican, and she's not educated about our community. But she wants to be front row at our pride parades, even though she doesn't know how to hold the flag.
Oh, she must be related to me.
Maybe she was a cast member on House of Heat. Mark, I want to know, with everything that you've accomplished, and you're still so young, like you have all of this ahead of you, and look at like everything you've done. What do you want most in building your career legacy? So when somebody mentions Mark, you want them to feel this from everything that you've built so far.
Humor, laughter. I think that I want everyone to laugh at everything. I think that life is so fucking hard and so difficult for everyone that if I could bring a little laugh, a little Blumpkin spice to your latte, then that's all I want to do.
Here's kind of a hot topic, and it kind of deals with our current election, but it's happened under Biden's reign as well. There are adult restrictions happening all over the states in the name of morality and child protection. Many adult websites, like Fleshbutt, which you know I write for, and Pornhub have pulled out of many states, and the state list keeps growing and growing. It's like a domino effect. And this is under Biden's rule.
Yeah.
What's going to happen, do you think, in the adult industry? Because you can't say we don't care about protecting minors, because of course we all do. I mean, we're not, certain people that are in jail right now. But
With P. Diddy, you know he's in the same jail as P. Diddy.
no,
Yes.
get out.
Austin Wolf and P. Diddy are in the same jail. Could you imagine his surprise when P.
That's
Diddy
wild.
is his
I haven't-
neighbor?
Oh,
I mean,
they're
I
probably
don't know if there's
besties.
different wings. Are there wings? Like, is there like a pervert section?
That's
a rapist
crazy.
section,
That's
like a murder
crazy.
section?
Yeah, there are different units, but they would be in the same unit if, well, we know what they're in for.
Yeah.
They probably have a lot of
Same
notes.
for the sickos.
Yeah. And well,
that just gives. Oh, wow.
if you saw the Menendez Monsters on Netflix, there's a scene where one of the Menendez brothers is put right next to OJ when they finally captured OJ, and they have a conversation. And I was like, well, that's Ryan Murphy, making a fantasy again. That is 100% true.
Whoa.
OJ and one of the Menendez brothers, I forget if it was Lyle or Eric, were put next door, and they had a whole conversation all night. And I was like, what do two murderers have to talk about?
Damn.
Anyway, so back to this, so there are many states that if you can't access Pornhub, you can't access any adult sites, and it's attacking smaller adult websites who don't have the money to build a verification system. And I'll just tell you from Fleshbutt's point of view, to build a verification system and to keep it maintained on your own would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Smaller websites don't have that. I don't know any studios that have that each month just to keep people going to their website. And so we are losing representation. OnlyFans, you have certain people who are Republican, castmates from House of Heat, that are supporting this. It's like, well, OnlyFans is going to be restricted, and this is under this current rule. Can you imagine under full Republican rule? Mark, what do you think is going to happen with all of this?
Well, I do think that the age verification is important. I do think that we need to find a way to do it more cost effectively because it needs to be done. We can't just let people have whatever website, big or small, and not do age verification. I think it's very important to protect the kids from what we're doing. I don't want any children watching what we're making. So I feel comfortable with a site who's going to verify that. So I think we just have to find a cheaper way to do it. I don't know.
But
go door to door checking IDs.
But here's the
I
thing.
think that would be my hope too, is that it would be like cheaper for them to do or be made more accessible for them to have that verification.
But guess who's
'cause
making
we
it
need
expensive is the government because they don't want these sites.
Okay.
That's the basic
Because we need
thing.
to have it.
But
It's
we
important.
But we know when Pornhub releases their yearly, who's accessing Pornhub and who's accessing some of the most taboo stuff is the Bible Belt, which is very, odd. But they're making it so expensive, and they're making it that you have to upload a copy of your driver's license to access an adult website. I don't want to put my driver's license up for,
I mean, when I first think of that, though, I feel like you should have to upload something that proves, like, it can't just be like you say you're 18 and here's your birthday.
So
We need some proof.
the dilemma. But until that time, adult sites are just disappearing. And so, adult sites based on traffic, even studios, they can make a big budget film, but they need those visits because it clicks into advertisers, sponsorships, memberships. So you take state by state, and the list is growing rapidly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really happy that OnlyFans does it because we're on our OnlyFans every day talking to our subscribers and having, we do a lot of dirty talking with them to fulfill their fantasies. So I like that there's a verification so I know that all of those people are over 18.
Good plug.
So
But we know OnlyFans is such an empire, but I'm talking about like the middle market, the smaller market of studios that are just putting out great content and need to make a living, and now they're shut down. Even adult products are now restricted.
Yeah.
And it's also restricting certain LGBTQ sites that are seen as sexual because it's sex education. So as a queer boy growing up, I didn't have access. I had the AOL, which it would take an hour to load somebody's picture, much less going to a website. And so I didn't have the education that I should have had by clicking on how to have gay sex, medically speaking, how to be protected, all of that stuff. So that access is now being taken away because it's considered an adult site.
interesting.
So
I think the
what are we
government
going to
will wake up once, because if you look statistically, this is a terrible aspect of this, but the countries and the cities that ban porn, the rate of rapes and sexual assaults in those countries and cities is astronomically higher than the cities and countries where porn is available.
That is really interesting because people are able to work out their fantasies and their frustrations. That is really, really interesting. I did not correlate that.
People need to get their rocks off.
Yeah, because it builds up.
Yeah.
I think it also is, they talk about when states and cities that educate more on practices of safe sex, like there's less teenage pregnancies.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of
less
it.
abortions.
Yeah, so less abortions. I feel like all of it correlates is that we should all have access to safe sex or sex education.
All right, this is our final hot topic before we wrap up. This has become a new hot topic. We've been talking about gay for pay for years. We have our Johnny Rapids, we have our Reese Rideouts. We know that the straight, they have female partners, but they're leading names in the industry, and we've just kind of accept gay for pay is just here to stay. And while people might complain, whatever, people are still watching the videos. But here is the new hot topic, and it's not new, but it's becoming more produced and more accepted. Is straight for pay. So, in fact, I talked with Derek Cage. I talked to Derek Cage today for Fleshbot. Dylan Diaz, we know, is filming a lot of straight and bi content.
I just thought Derek Cage was bi. Is he not? Oh,
girl, have you met him?
I know. I haven't had the privilege of meeting or filming with him yet.
No, so he may talk like this, but when he's out partying, he's like, woohoo, girl.
I talk like that on a Monday morning.
No, but it actually started, I don't know if anybody remembers like Blake Riley or Cameron, I forget what his last name, they filmed heterosexual and everybody went bonkers. And then men.com in 2018 did the first bi scene with Arad. You guys know Arad. Mm. And everybody went crazy that men.com had to take the scene down because the gays lost their shit. Then Arad made a statement saying, I'm a gay man. And I mean, we know he had to escape his country to be a gay man. He says, it was a job and I got paid. But that was 2018. And only now are we starting to see more scenes where identify as gay, lead gay lives are filming. How is that different than gay for pay? And the fans are still not having a good time with it. So Derek did like a summer tour with Sophie Locke is her name. They're great friends. They met at the Gay VNs and they filmed a bunch of content. Derek's fans came after him saying that you're a poser. You just taken our gay money, but you must be straight because now you're sleeping. Not to mention he has a huge library of gay content. But this is a new hot topic. Is being straight for pay different than being gay for pay? Should the gays be losing their shit?
Ooh, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this because I shoot in studio porn.
But it's just an open dialogue.
Okay, I'll just say for I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this.
Just say it.
Anyone that I shoot with for studio, I'm here. I'm a professional. I'm gonna shoot with you, straight, gay, whatever. But for Cody and I's OnlyFans, we don't shoot with straight guys.
But that's your personal...
That's our personal preference. Yeah. Like, I want to shoot with people that I... Like, if we're going to shoot with someone for OnlyFans, have a threesome, I film him, he films me. I want to know that, yes, there's always a performative aspect to it, but I want to know that this person genuinely enjoys dick or ass. And so we don't shoot with straight guys. I've had
You filmed with Reese Rideout.
I didn't know he was straight.
No, his manager...
Look at his outfit.
His manager...
How did you not know?
Just to speak to that, his manager is the one that set that up for us. I told him that we don't shoot with straight guys. He said, oh, he likes gay sex.
He says bye.
His manager lied.
No, he does like gay sex because he gets paid for it.
I said we don't shoot with straight guys. He said, no, he's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
He said that. His manager said that. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
I think he was talking about autism. I'm just kidding, Reese.
He's literally staying at my house right now for 2 weeks.
I love Reese.
We love Reese.
I've loved hanging out with him. I'm just, for us, we've just...
But he also supports our community. He's at the gay bars every night taking pictures with fans. He's hanging out with us.
Yeah.
You just know that in his life, he's a straight man.
I just know there's so many gay creators. I don't need to shoot with a straight one.
So that's the fight. Also, they say that we've fought so hard for gay representation in gay porn because gay porn used to be always, it was straight porn that got all the attention. Yeah. Gay porn, and Mark, you're part of this, is making it part of mainstream. And so we are becoming as popular as straight porn. And so they're saying, we fought so hard for this representation. Why are we giving our roles to straight men? Just like Hollywood is having this conversation.
Yeah. I think my personal beliefs, like if I saw like my favorite porn actor doing straight porn, I would lose kind of the fantasy of them from doing that. That's like personally what my issue is. I'm not going to like come at you for it, but will I probably stop watching your gay porn? Yeah, I will probably stop watching your gay porn.
100%. And we're all being honest here. That has happened to me. Yeah.
Oh, no one watches your gay porn anymore?
OnlyFans. No, but I've lost interest because I'm like, that doesn't excite me. And I know it makes me doubt the sincerity of their really hot scenes. I'm like, then they weren't really into it. They were just playing it. But you guys are actors. And so, Sumner, even if you're with a gay guy at a studio, he may not be your type at all. You still have to act the part. So for our perspective, everything that you do is fantasy and is acted.
I'm attracted to all my scene partners.
But that's the exact reason why I
Saw you fall
don't.
asleep in one scene.
I don't do studio porn. It's because I can't cross that line.
With your poker face, you don't have a poker face.
I can
don't.
find I can find someone that I'm attracted to about every scene partner I've ever shot with. I could.
Okay.
But I have shot for studios. I've shot with straight guys. And that's why I'm cautious to say that, because I don't want anyone to think I'm going to come into a scene and be like, "Oh no." But just for our own OnlyFans, we just prefer to
Okay, so how
I can
about-
lie, but my face can't.
They give you like a wrong piece of toast, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Now, what about like those straight for pay?
Yeah. So
Here's $5,000. Go film with this girl down the hall. What are you gonna do?
I'm not gonna tell them how to make their coin, just like the gay for pay to the straight for pay. I mean, go do your thing.
Would you do it? Here's $5,000. You have to film a 30-minute scene.
No. What I would do is I would shoot with a trans man, because that actually I think would turn me on, but I don't think I would do the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mark, I mean, you've been on all sides of the industry. What's your take on this whole thing?
So I actually, speaking of the first men.com buy scene, I filmed their second one.
Oh wow.
And I got so much shit for that.
Yes.
Gay men were so disappointed that I directed a buy scene. And that I don't love that. I don't think that as gay men, we are already part of the minority sexually. So then we're going to also like judge someone else for stepping outside of that. I think that sex should be explored by everyone and anyone in whichever way they want to do it. As long as there's consent, as long as they're into it. I don't love the guys who are like coming to a set and like, I'm very straight. Like you said, you don't film with straight guys anymore. Like Diego did the same thing. He famously did not get along with Johnny Rapid on the set of Pirates of the Caribbean, and then after that, he's like, I'm not going to film with straight guys anymore. So I think we should always respect those choices, but not, I don't know, be so quick to judge anybody else's sexuality or, like we said, on the spectrum. And for the record, I'm on the spectrum too, so don't come after me, autism community. I'm with you.
And here's the thing, even sexuality has changed. When I came out, there was gay and straight. If you said you were bi, you were really gay. It was just like a footstep. That's what the assumption was. Now we have so many different types of sexuality. There's even asexual, where you just don't want sex at all. And so I think sex is so fluid, and of course it's going to be represented in our porn. And I don't know about some gays, but we've had drunken nights, and I was engaged to be married at one point to a girl. Like, we've all had different experiences in our life. And to limit that, Mark, to your point, I think is... Did you just look at me that way, Tony? Whatever. But I think you're right to limit and to get so angry. We wanted inclusion. We wanted equality. Well, this is part of it. Some men like to sleep with women and guys. Some guys like to make a paycheck, and you jerk off to it. So there.
I would never be angry at someone for doing it. I mean, I was just shooting some men.com, and 2 weeks ago with Sean Cody back to back. I shot with my scene partners were straight. The scenes were great. Like, they were wonderful to work with. I very much enjoyed the scene we did. So I do go back and forth with this of like, I mean, and the scene we did with Reese right up for our OnlyFans was a great scene. We all got along. We had a great time doing what we were doing. It just, when I think about my preference, I would just prefer for my OnlyFans to shoot with someone who is somewhat on the spectrum or likes guys in some way. You know, not gay. They could be bi or pan or whatever.
Honestly, just even thinking about it, like as your partner, like if you would like do a straight scene, I don't think I'm okay with that.
Wow.
Like,
Oh, well, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
well,
That's something for you to talk about.
I was totally
going
gonna say I would do it, but since my
No, but that's an
I don't think
interesting
you should
aspect.
do it. I don't think you should.
I don't
do
think
it
you
at
don't
all.
need to do
I
it.
don't need to, but I do think I've when I'm scrolling on Twitter, I've seen trans men that I'm attracted to, so I think that that's something I'd be open to. But the rest doesn't do it for me, so I don't think that I would want to, because there's so many. I already have so many other scenes that are available to me, and like I said, other gay men for our OnlyFans. It's like, why do I need to go do that when there's already all this available?
Yes. Okay.
So.
It's like I wouldn't want to have sex with a lesbian because
Right.
I know they're not going to like that. So it would be hard to be vulnerable and film something if you're having sex with someone who you know doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Mark, would you direct a straight scene?
I have. I've directed everything. I've directed. There was a scene I did for Trans Angel where it was a cis woman and a trans woman, but then the cis woman put a strap-on and it fucked the trans woman. So I am open to exploring all different sexualities.
That's what's so confusing for me is, I can understand somewhat, people getting hate if they're doing straight porn, they're gay. But as a director, that's where I'm lost. It's like, why would anyone?
Well, no. I don't think the director would have hate, but they have a certain talent. Like Steven Spielberg has a talent for what he does. He's not going to direct a reality TV show.
True.
He'd be terrible at it.
Yeah.
But I won't compare gay porn and straight porn with
as a
reality
gay man-
TV and a movie from.
Well, no, but like as a gay man director, you know what feels good. You know what positions you want to see as a gay man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
You don't know what a straight guy wants to see on the screen. Do you know what I mean? Like they want less dick and more tit. Do you know what I mean?
But they won't know until they get to direct one.
All right, we need to wrap up. Mark, I want to know, how are you, Mark the person, most different than Mark the persona that we see?
Nate.
Yeah.
I'm actually incredibly shy in my personal life. I don't like to go out. I don't drink alcohol. I don't go out to I don't love to be out at any parties. Like when I met you two, I stayed in that club in Vegas for approximately 13 seconds.
Wow.
And then I got out of there. I'm very nervous around crowds. I think I don't know. I just don't love to be around a bunch of people. I'm kind of reclusive and I stay inside.
You say that, and I actually remember now. I remember going to Sumner. Where'd he go?
But it's funny because I've seen you kill it on the red carpet. Like you and John killed it at at the gay VNs and whatnot.
That's easy. When at work, I think that's just what makes me so different. MacNamara to Manali, I'm very gregarious and open, and when there's a mic in front of me, I can talk about anything else. But if I were to go to a bar and a stranger would come up and say hi to me, how dare you?
All right, so don't come up and say hi to Mark, I guess.
No, do it.
I think that's what sometimes people think introverted means you're just gonna be quiet and shy. It's like, no, you can come out, perform, do your thing, but then you need to go home and recharge. That's what introverts do.
I know you guys now. You guys, when you guys go out, you guys go out and have fun, but there's also the nights where you're not leaving the house for anything.
I usually need to. I realize as I'm getting older, I'm a little more introverted. I need to be home to recharge. My social battery goes down faster than his.
For mine, it's some weeks I could go out every night, and then there's weeks where I don't want to be talked to.
Yeah. We're gay men. We all have different things. Mark, lastly, what is your message to your fans?
Oh my God. Well, thank you for being interested. How grateful am I to have this career for so long and be able to do anything that I just put my mind to and have been given yes. People like Tim Valenti at Falcon Naked Sword is just an incredible leader and a boss, and just to always support the arts. And I just thank you all for letting me provide entertainment for you. It's an honor.
I love that. Mark, where do you want people to find and follow you? Or do you not want them to find you because you're an introvert?
I live in Hell's Kitchen.
My address is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. At Marc MacNamara. No, I do love when people say hi. I don't mean don't come say hi to me. Right. I'm just saying don't be surprised if I'm incredibly shy when you meet me. That's just who I am. But you can find me at Marc MacNamara across the board on Twitter, on Instagram. And I do have a TikTok, but I don't really do that.
Okay, all right.
He doesn't talk.
And so for this film show, that you're filming in Fire Island with Monica and the whole crew, is there going to be a live audience?
It's not going to be shot in Fire Island, but it's going to be shot in New York. The first two are going to be shot in New York, and then we will probably go to different resorts around the world shooting it if it works out. But yeah, it will be a live audience. They're going to have. Everyone's going to be in resort wear, so it's going to be a sexy live audience.
Ooh. So, if we jumped on a plane, could we sit in the audience and hang out sometime?
Yeah, October 13th.
Wow, my October's getting booked.
Yes, it is.
Mostly because of you.
Mark, it has been such a pleasure to sit and chat with you. I'm such a fan of everything that you do. Obviously, you're a hustler. You work super hard, and your product is just top notch, and I think you're setting the bar high in the industry, and thank you for doing that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right, Koaty, Sumner, where can people find and follow you, and what's your message to your fans?
Well, you can find us at Koaty Sum on everything. KOATYSUM on TikTok, Twitter, OnlyFans, all of it.
Everything, literally.
Everything. What's our message to our fans?
Just that we love them and keep following.
And vote wisely this election.
We got a lot of stuff coming, so
Yes.
Yeah.
we're excited.
Yep. Look for their podcast sitting soon, In Bed with Koaty and Sumner. And watch House of Heat, too. It's streaming for free on Tubi.
Oh, yeah. That old show. Oh, yeah. That's still out.
You guys were like the runaway stars. The other stars are like, what are we doing? We got to do stupid shit to get attention. Anyway.
No, yeah. So, no, but we love our fans. Thank you guys so much. I mean, we wouldn't be here without you. So, thank you.
All right, fabulous. Well, that's all, folks. It's always a grab bag. Mark, did you have one more thing to say?
I just want to say thank you to you, because as someone who knows the gig of the podcast, you were so good and so natural and so like effervescent. Like I enjoy doing it with someone who is so good at their job. So thank you so much, Alexander. And I also want to thank Koaty and Sumner, because it's so nice to have, and I'm so excited about your podcast. It's so nice to have people and a couple to look up to who's like going and looking at wedding venues and kind of doing this like fantasy life that we all like dream of one day. So like, thank you for putting yourselves out there.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you.
They're going to clip
so
that and use it as a promo. Yeah. Oh, it's just a love fest here. Well, thank you, everybody. It's always a grab bag of fun here every weekend on The Rocks. Big thank you to our engineer, Tony Sweet.
No.
Yes. Speaking of housewives, Speaking of housewives, Taylor Armstrong, who was on Real Housewives of OC and Beverly Hills, is coming by. We have Michael Varrati, who's a writer and producer, because we're getting into Halloween. He's a writer-producer of all things horror, including the Boulet Brothers' Dracula. And we have a celebrity exorcist who has worked with A-list celebrities as a real exorcist. And I've chatted with her. She is unbelievable, whether you believe or not believe. You are just captivated by her. So that's all coming up for Halloween season. Please like, share, subscribe so you can continue bringing this fabulous programming coming your way for free. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and if you drink, stay tipsy.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.